process, there must be a consultation between the station commissioner and the prosecutor. Whatever follows must be read subject to that operative part.
Yeah. Yes, Mr. Miss.
Excuse me, madam.
No, you can continue.
Brigadier,
Yes, my lord.
would you agree with me? Now we are going to do a standard 3 analysis. Would you agree with me that there are cases where the intervention of a prosecutor would not be necessary? For instance, in a case where, actually, let me not get there. Would you agree with me that there are cases where the intervention of a prosecutor would not be necessary and the police must just investigate that case from beginning to the end on its own and table it before a prosecutor? Such cases do exist, not so?
So,
yes.
During the investigation process, I suppose, is that what you mean? During the investigation process? Yes. But under the guidance of obviously the supervisor who will guide the relevant member, but the ultimate decision maker is the NPA, my lord. So that located at one time or another will sit at the office of the NPA, and they may be of the view that look, we are not happy with what we have. Go and do 1, 2, 3 further, which has happened on this matter. We spoke about it, my lord. So the ultimate arbiter in these proceedings is actually the NPA. Whether you involve them at the beginning or you decide not to involve them, but at the end of the day, you will never get to court without sitting down with the NPA, my lord.
Uzovumelana-ke nami ukuthi-ke khona-ke izehlakalo-ke la khona-ke amaphoyisa ekhininga nje ukuthi-ke azenzele wona-ke uphenyo engadingekile ukuthi-ke bathole izwi-ke noma-ke umlomo obuya kwi-NPA noma-ke phecelezi-ke abashushisi. Yebo, lokho kungenzeka noma-ke kuyenzeka-ke amaphoyisa aphenye, kodwa ekugcineni-ke idokodo lelo lizothathwa lihambe-ke liye-NPA noma kubona-ke abashushisi ibona-ke abazothatha isinqumo, ibona abazosho ukuthi cha asenyemeke lokho enikwenziwe noma umsebenzi eniwenziwe noma ungazenzela ningabafaki noma nibafake ukuthi ekugcineni lizogcina-ke ukona.
That is what is called instructions that the prosecutor will give for further investigations and so.
That is correct, my lord.
Thank you. That will be an instance where the police have started with the investigation, they've made the arrest, they've brought the accused before court. He has already appeared at court. The prosecutor enrolls the case at court. He goes through it and realizes that we still need to get this and this and this and this and this information as part of further investigation. Do you follow?
I follow, but it is not the only instance, my lord. Even if the matter is not enrolled.
I'm talking about that instance. Not yours. I'm talking about that instance.
Yeah,
let's concentrate on that instance, Mr. Ugininda.
Okay, which instance then? Let me understand.
The one that I've just spaced out now. The police receives a complaint. It goes out, investigates the complaint. He found that there are merits in the complaint which warrant the arrest of the perpetrator. He goes on and arrests the perpetrator. He brings him before court, and then he takes the docket to the prosecutor. The prosecutor enrolls the matter. The suspect appears at court. After appearance, the prosecutor postpones the case. After postponing the case, the prosecutor takes the docket into his office, sits down, and gives the investigating officer instructions. That is the situation that I'm talking about. Let's concentrate on that one.
Well, yes, in that example that you're giving me, yes, that's how the prosecutor will give instructions.
Yes.
Uma ukhuluma noma-ke umnikeza leso sibonelo ukuthi-ke iphoyisa liyaphenya liyahamba liyokupha umsolwa-ke icala-ke liyenkantolo liyahlehiswa-ke bese umshushisi-ke manje uyahlala nedokodo uthi-ke lowo ophenyayo akaqhubekeke ngophenyo. Yebo, kwenzeka-ke noma lokho kuyenzeka kuleso usibonelo umnikeza sona.
Thank you. In that particular instance, don't you use this document, Exhibit XX?
No.
When you have an interview with the suspect.
My lord, so, yes. And I want to move with the example that has been given.
I am asking a simple question. In that instance, don't you use a document which is called a statement regarding an interview with the suspect, this document? Don't you use it?
My lord, I can hear Mr. Mnisi very loud and clear without raising his voice. It's just mind it, because I'm answering.
My voice.
But it sounds like that to me, because I'm going to answer you.
Okay.
I was giving a broad example of how this particular example started. From the time of the arrest to the time it's taken to the prosecution, a person appears and instructions then are given by the prosecutor. I cannot now be expected to answer only one portion. I want to answer it broadly. So, because I feel now I've been confined to only focus on one thing. I was given a broader picture, and I want to deal with that broader picture in terms of the answer, my lord.
Okay,
and
you can explain, Mr. Ugininda, explain.
It's not an explanation, it's an answer, my lord. The question has been put to me.
Yes.
Now, my lord, in that example that I was given, when the person appears, before the person appears, a warning form statement would have been completed. You cannot appear before the warning statement is taken. So that would be the first step in preparation, in processing that person to appear before court. So that warning statement, I want to deal with it because the question relates to the warning statement. The first part would have been completed. Secondly, the person then the docket gets taken now to the prosecution. This is the example that I was given. The prosecution, based on the evidence and explanation given to it contained on the docket, the NPA will make a decision then to enroll the matter. In that instance, my lord, if there are outstanding investigation, as Advocate uMnisi is saying, then further instructions will be given to the IO to follow. I'm not sure whether the question is to say the further instruction is that further warning statement must be taken, because at that stage, the warning statement is already taken. You cannot appear before the warning statement is taken. So if the assertion is that after the person has appeared, there is further instructions to take a further warning statement, it's an unusual practice, me as a policeman, that I've heard. It's a different story when the person has not appeared. So that's how I can answer it, my lord.
Uma ngingaphendula ke lo mbuzo ukuthi ke manje ke umuntu esebingeleleke imanje umshushisi ke manje ukuthi ke kulo ophenya icala akaqhubekeke nophenyo ukuthi manje ayisagcwaliswa ke yini noma le statement lesi istatement lesi njengoba kubizwa ukuthi i-warning statement angeke umuntu ayobingelela imanje kanti i-warning statement ayikathathwa into ke leyo engajwayelekile uma ukuthi ke manje ushiwo mina ngale ndlela ukuthi umuntu esebingelele imanje sekufanele manje uyothathwa i-warning statement ngoba lokho kwenzeka eqaleni ngaphambi kokuthi umuntu ayovela enkantolo.
Thank you, Brigadier. I know you heard me well. I think it's just that this question is rattling you. You are saying, even before the person would go to greet the magistrate, a warning statement would have been taken from him, not so?
I'm saying according to the example given to me by Advocate uMnisi, in that example that he gave me, because he said I must focus on that example. That's the instruction I got for him. He said, don't go anywhere, focus on what I'm telling you. The example he gave me, my lord, the person gets arrested. After the arrest, he is in process and taken to court, and the matter is enrolled. I'm saying in that particular example, there must be a warning statement taken before the appearance. I'm referring to the specific example that was given to me, my lord.
Mina ke ngikhuluma ngesibonelo lesi esinikezwe kumina ke ukuthi ngaphambilini kokuthi ke umuntu ayovela ke enkantolo noma ke ayobingelela ke imanje i-warning statement ithathwa ngaphambilini kokuthi kwenzeke ke lokho.
Thank you. That warning statement that must be taken before he goes and greets the magistrate. Are you not using this document?
No, my lord. As I've said, there are no prescribed forms in the warning statement. I've dealt with this, my lord. There is no one specific forms in the police that says it's a warning statement. There are different ones. The important thing for practicality, my lord, it could also be this one or a different one. The fact of the matter is that there will be a warning statement completed before a person appears, whether it's this one or a different one, but not necessarily that it will be this specific one, because it depends as to whether that station or that detective has possession of this specific one, because others they've got a different one, my lord. The essence of it, there will be a warning statement completed prior to the appearances.
Akukho ke emaphoyiseni ke ukuthi ke kufanele kubeke iform thizini ekuyiyona ke ebhalayo noma ke egcwaliswayo. Kungathola ukuthi esinye isiteshi asinayo lena mina ke enginayo noma leyo detective unenye ke iform, kodwa kusemqokazi ukuthi nje kufanele ukuthi ke i-warning statement ibe khona ke ngaphambilini ukuthi umuntu ke ayovela ke kuyona inkantolo. Akunamthetho ukuthi kufanele kube iform ethize.
Thank you, Brigadier. I've just been alerted that it's time for a short attending. But before we attend, I can promise you that you are going to explore this fact further. If it will be necessary, I'm going to request this court in terms of Section 186 of the Criminal Procedure Act. I'm going to request this court to call for us, General Fanima Semola, to come and explain what you've just told us. Alternatively, the national spokesperson of the South African Police Services, Atenda Martin. Alternatively, any person from the legal services of the South African Police Services.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Before you call General Masemola.
I said I'm going to request the court, my lord.
In this case, was there a warning statement taken of all the accused before this court?
Yes, my lord, accused 1 up to 5.
Even accused number 2?
Even accused number 2.
Okay.
There was a warning statement taken.
Is it similar to that?
Yes, it's similar to this, my lord. It was taken later.
Okay, tea time. The father of one of our colleagues, Judge Njelele, apparently the father passed away during the course of last week, and he's been buried tomorrow, and he stays out at Thohoyandou or beyond Thohoyandou. So persons have to drive. It's about how many hours drive then? About 6.
I think yes, it's about 6.
Yeah, I used to sit
400, 500
in that court in Thohoyandou, donkey years back, when it was still part of the TPD and the Witwatersrand Crosslands local division. So I know that area. And sometimes they used to take us to Messina on circuit.
Yes.
Okay, so for that reason, then the court will adjourn at 1 p.m. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
Perhaps also on that topic, just a reminder that Brigadier Gininda is not available tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
And Monday.
Monday.
So we'll then resume on Tuesday next week.
Okay. On Tuesday, no?
Yes, my lord.
Okay, fine.
Inkantolo ibika-ke udaba-ke kunodaba okhulunyiwe ekuseni lana kunomunye-ke wabehluleli oshonele ubaba wakhe kunabantu-ke la emsebenzini-ke engiyomunye wabo-ke nami abazoya-ke kuloyo mngcwabo loyo. So inkantolo-ke manje kuzothi uma kushaya u-1 bese singabuyi-ke emuva kwalokho sesobuya sihlangane-ke ngolwesibili ngoba-ke ubrigadier kusasa uyabhala kanye futhi nangomsombuluko sizobuya-ke uma sesiqedile-ke ngo-1 sobuya ngolwesibili kwiviki elizayo.
Okay.
As it please the court, madam.
Yes.
Now, I'm trying to decipher where I was. Thank you, madam. Brigadier,
Yes,
you
madam.
are saying this is not a uniform form that is used within the parameters of the South African police services. You're saying without whether some police stations are having these forms. That's what you said. That's all.
I'm saying in terms of the warning statement, my
Yes.
lord, there is no prescribed form. In other words, this is not a golden rule to say this is the only warning statement that you must use. Form. Yes, I'm referring to the form itself, my lord. That is why I'm saying if you peruse dockets and prosecutors will know that you will find different warning statements other than this one. That's what I'm saying, my lord.
Engishoyo ukuthi-ke lena iform ephambi kwami-ke akusiyona-ke ukuthi-ke iyona nje kuphela-ke kufanele isetshenziswe. Uma ungabheka-ke amadokodo iy'tatimende-ke ubona-ke abeshushisi uzothola ukuthi kunamafomu ahlukene ekuyiwona asetshenziswayo uma-ke kuza kuloko kubizwa ngokuthi-ke ama-warning statements.
So, what you're basically saying is that there is no uniformity in the South African police services with regard to this document called Statement Regarding Interview with Suspect in terms of the nature of the form.
No, there is uniformity, my lord, insofar as the guidelines with the interview, regarding the interview, the guidelines are set. It's the same with taking a confession, it's guidelines. But when it comes to this specific form, and I'm referring to this specific form to say this is not the only ones, but insofar as the guidelines that must be followed when an interview is done, you get those guidelines. Others are not just as detailed as this one in terms of what it says. It will mostly consider the issues of the constitutional rights and then straight to the explanation as to what the deponent wants to say or responds to.
Engikushoyo ukuthi-ke uma kuza-ke ekuthini-ke yini ekufanele yenziwe kuma-interview kukhona-ke ukusolayo ukuthi kufanele kwenziweni-ke kuyona-ke ifomu lena kodwa uma ubheka-ke amafomu ngokuhlukana kwawo amanye azoba nemininingwane-ke nanjengale amanye angabi nayo-ke imininingwane amalungelo kuphela bese kuyiwa kuyona-ke inhlolo khona.
And maybe to assist the defense, my lord, to make it easier, when I come back next week on Tuesday, I can source those forms, bring them to court and make them available to Advocate uMnisi so that he can see that it's not me making these assertions. These are the different forms that you get in different stations. So I can embark on that exercise to assist so that we can put this matter into rest with a clear understanding.
Ngingasiza noma ngalekelela-ke futhi uma sesibuya-ke kwiviki elizayo ngolwesibili ukuthi-ke la mafomu kwatholeke ukwazi-ke ukuthi-ke abonwe-ke noma bameli bawabone-ke sokwazi ukuthi-ke lolu daba lolu-ke sizophela.
I don't want that assistance. I am specifically referring to this form. Are you then saying that this form that is called SAPS 3M in bracket M, which is known as a statement regarding interview with the suspect, is not a uniform form that is being used by the South African police services when they have an interview with a statement? I'm not talking about guidelines, I'm talking form, this document that has been handed to court as Exhibit XX.
My lord, I'm answering. I'm saying there are many warnings, there are different various forms marked SAP 3M to be specific, but not necessarily like this one. Others are shorter, hence I said I can embark on exercise of bringing the SAP S3M so that the defense of the court can see them.
Engikushoyo ukuthi-ke maningi-ke amafomu-ke abhalwe ngale ndlela SAP 3M kodwa kamanye-ke uzothola ukuthi-ke awanamininingwane njengalena kamanye nje mfishane ingakho ngisho-ke ukuthi ngingawaletha la enkantolo ukulekelela.
Thank you. Let's go back a bit to our introduction. You are saying the first time you saw accused number 2 was on the 18th when you met him at Westernary and so?
At Carltonville, my lord.
At Carltonville, yes.
Yes, that's what I said, my lord.
Ngishilo ukuthi mangihlangana naye kokuqala umsolo wesibili kwakunge 18 June eCarltonville.
And where were you driving from when you met him at Carltonville?
From Gauteng, my lord. I just don't recall. One will have to check with, but it was from Gauteng, my lord.
Ngangibuya khona-ke la eGauteng noma-ke khona-ke eGoli kufanele ngibheke ukuthi kuphi nendawo uma ngangiya khona eCarltonville.
Then what necessitated you to drive to Carltonville to go meet accused number 2?
Well, my lord, I didn't go with accused number 2. I found him there.
No, I'm saying what necessitated you to drive to Carltonville to go and meet accused number 2?
All right, my apologies, I misunderstood.
Yes.
No, so it was the communication, my lord, that I received from Sergeant Mohan, as I said earlier, that they told me they were there and following other investigation, and part of, as I'm saying, my lord, that they asked him about this matter. So I wanted to deal with it directly as I was the lead investigating officer, my lord.
Konje uthe kwakuyini injongo noma inhloso yokuthi ke uye eCarltonville uyohlangana naye ke nanje bangishilo ukuthi kwakukhulumisana kwakukhona ke kanye naye ke uSergeant Mohan nokuthi ke babeyophenya ke mayelana namanye ke amacala kwase ke kuvela namakhulunywa ngalo ke leli icala ke ila engithe khona ke angiyeke nanje ngoba kwakuyimina ke opolitiki bephenya kuleli cala.
So for them to have said to you, we're in Carltonville, we're with accused number 2, amongst others who are investigating this case, and then you then they took a decision to say, I am joining you there at Carltonville. Or is there, okay, you can answer?
Yes, not joining them in the investigation, my lord. I think I've explained that there were cases that they were following unrelated to this matter. My interest insofar as going there, it was in relation to accused number 2, so that I can conduct an interview with him in relation to this matter. That was my only reason that I went there, my lord.
Isizathu ke esabangela ukuthi ngiye lapho ngishilo lo ngaphambilini ukuthi bona ke babeyele amanye amacala lapho ayengahlangene naleli mina ke ukuthi ngiye lapho bakuthi ke ngokukhulumisana naye umsolo wesibili mayelana naleli icala.
Brigadier Gininda, why couldn't you wait? If the reason that you gave now is what prompted you to drive to Carltonville, to Carltonville. Why could you say to them, okay, no, it's fine. When you're done there, can you please bring him to my office?
No, but why, my lord? What would be the reason of waiting? I was available, and I made a decision. Well, there was nothing that was prohibiting me from going there. I was available, and I felt I want to deal with it, because from the time he was arrested, one will have to take note, my lord, that I was informed that he was arrested on the 16th. It was already the 18th. I've not seen him, and I knew that he was a person of interest based on the statement that was already obtained in the docket, my lord.
Ukuthi ke kwakufanele noma kwakungani ngingalindiki ukuthi uma niqedile lapho niletheke office lami ngangizokwenzelani ke lokho ngoba ke mhlawumbe ngekho izathu nganginaso futhi isikhathi sokuthi ngiye khona lapho okunye futhi ukuthi wayeboshwe nge-16 manje ngalelo langa lelo kwakusele ngazo i-18 zika June 2020.
Thank you. Now the date today, when I mean today, I mean the date on which you had an interview with accused number 2 at Carltonville, is the 18th of June 2020, not so?
Correct, my lord.
It dated 18th of June 2020.
And when did accused number 2 again make the confession to, is it Lapari?
Yes, he made it on the 19th of June 2020.
Uma enza ke istatement esogonyulo kwakena ke ukhenyo lapha umsolo wesibili kwakunge 19th of June 2020.
And when did he make the confession to Mrs. Kronje?
It was the 24th of June 2020.
Kwakunge 24th of June 2020 uma esenza ke istatement esogonyulo phambi kwakhe ke uKronje magistrate.
Thank you. Now, it is common cause, or it is not in dispute, let me not say it's common cause, it is not in dispute that after his arrest on the 16th of June at Pukeng, he was taken into custody also.
Yes, my lord, I'm aware of that.
Yebo ngiyazi ke ukuthi emuva kokuthi aboshwa ke wase eyovalelwa ke esitokisini.
So all these activities which happened subsequent to the 16th of June, up until the 24th of June 2020 when he appeared before Mrs. Kronje, the magistrate, for his confession, he had been always from custody, not so?
Yes, he was still under detention, my lord.
Yes.
Yebo kukanjalo ukuthi konke lokho okwenzeka ke kusuka nge-16 kuyofika ke isikhathi sange-24 uma eya ke phambi koMrs. Kronje kwenza lokho ke ngaphakathi esitokisini.
Now, when did he appear at court for the first time in this case?
So on this case, he appeared on the 27th of October 2020, my lord.
Uma ebingelela imanje ihlandla lokuqala ke kuleli icala kwakunge 27 zika October 2020.
Thank you. Now from 22 June 2020, the date on which he appeared before the magistrate for a confession, for the alleged confession, to 27 October 2020. Actually, let me put it this way. Why did he not, or why was he not made to appear at court immediately after a confession was taken from Mrs. Kronje on the 24th of June 2020?
So, okay, so yeah, I'll have to explain, my lord. So,
Yes.
Firstly, the first court appearance, even though it's unrelated to this matter, took place on the 22nd.
I'm sorry. Brigadier, let me qualify in respect of this matter.
All right.
Yes.
Okay, now I get it. All right. Now, in respect to this matter, my lord, one will remember that I've indicated that on the 23rd of June, there was an interaction where there was an attorney. Subsequent to this meeting and the discussion with the prosecution, arrangements gave rise to the confession that took place based on the discussion on the 24th. The investigation and the collaboration was not done, my lord. The fact that the confession was taken, it was not a done deal that the investigation was done. I was at that stage, my lord, as I said, the first time when I laid eyes on this confession of accused number 2, on the narrow-it's the one that I received from Colonel Rapado and subsequently the one of Mrs. Cronje, it was the first time where I had sights of accused 3, 4, and 5 in terms of the names as being alleged, where they were alleging that they were part of this. So insofar as the investigations were concerned, they were not complete. They were far from over. We didn't have the murder weapon. We didn't have all number of things and the statements that the defense is aware that we disclosed to them. So even though there were these 2 confessions, there were collaboration that needed to be done. You can't just take them on the face value. You need to collaborate and see that what this person is saying is actually the truth or not. And that applied not only in accused number 2, it was the same exercise that I embarked on when we dealt with the confession of accused 1. That is why one was able to see that when he was
So the Brigadier.
So I'm just making
No. I'm asking about accused number 2.
Yes, but my lord, I'm taking.
Let us confine ourselves to accused number 2. I'm not talking accused number 1. I'll come to accused number 1 if necessary. But let us confine ourselves to accused number 2.
Yes, my lord, but I hear you. I'm trying to confine myself. But what I'm saying, my lord, remember when I explained it, they say it mustn't be seen as if accused 2 got a specific treatment that was different than the others. That the picture I want to say that when we go to number 2, there is nothing different with him.
If I want that explanation,
Mr. Mnisi,
I will ask you.
Mr. Mnisi, please.
But my lord, this witness was not.
No, but don't stop the witness from testifying.
It's based on rules.
No, the rules are
based on rules,
the rules are as he says. It mustn't be seen that he gave special preference to accused number 2. There are 5 accused before him, so he had to make. I don't even want to give that evidence to make a decision concerning all the persons, according to him.
But my lord, my question is specifically confined to accused number 2. If I want to know about accused number 1, I specifically ask him.
But all 5 of them appeared one time.
But my lord, maybe the court does not understand the gist of my question. I am saying of my concern. I'm now busy with accused number 2. Whether or not he gave a different treatment to whether he did not give that which is explaining now. For purposes of my question, it is material. I want answers in relation to accused number 2.
My lord, I'm answering. But what Advocate UMnisi needs to take note, I cannot, because then it will become unfair in terms of what I must tell this court, because it seems my answers must be confined to fit the narrative that he wants to bring forward to this court. I'm answering this question that is asking me. I'm simply indicating that it was not an